Hey guys, how was your 11/11 portal? Mine was like exhausting. It was like my brain wanted to do what my body wanted to be, and there was this fight and struggle all day between my thoughts and how I was actually feeling, and just being able to accept that. Because I think I had this idea that it was going to be like this special day, and it turned out to just be a day where I had to rest. And my mind didn't want to. Even the night before, I had made this huge list of things I wanted to do because my mom was watching the kids and I had the whole weekend to myself. And it was like a juicy Saturday, and I just wanted to make the most of it, right? Yeah. I woke up in such a funk. I can't even put my finger on it. It was like there was nothing to be bothering me, but I felt bothered for no reason. And I felt annoyed because I couldn't do all the things on my list. So it was just this lesson. And then I woke up and my energy was just amazing. And I felt great. And I was like, yes, I'm back to me, the highest version of me. Sometimes we have to, during integration, like it really takes a toll on us mentally, physically, emotionally, just detoxing in general. And that detachment is also happening on a physical level, a mental level, an emotional level. We say we detach from something, but it's like this whole programming, this whole wiring of how we always did it. And that's what we're detaching from, but that's also deeply ingrained within us. And we have to give ourselves some grace and allow us to trust the process of what has to happen in order to cleanse yourself of old dense energies that don't serve you, so you can create that space for the new you to come in, for the new timeline to anchor in, and to get grounded in that. And that's like hard to get away from sometimes because we're so programmed to how things are done in the matrix reality, right? And to just be, sometimes it is difficult because we feel like we need to do. But anyways, I got, over the past week, I've got many downloads that have come in, and I just write them down, and I don't really have time in those moments or feel called in those moments to share. But I know that I will at some point, so I just jot them all down in my phone, and then I'll end up writing them out so I can reconnect with the message. I write them out right before I make the video. So I'll get the messages throughout the week. And then when I get that intuitive nudge to make a video, then I'll go write them out from my phone onto a piece of paper. And it reconnects me with the message and gets me in that space to really connect with my higher self and share what needs to come through. It was weird too, and I'm just gonna bring this up. Like, I heard somebody say something about there was like a Netflix video, like, or Netflix documentary, like a docu-series, like 3 episodes or something like that, that came out about twin flames. And it looked to me, it was just like somebody trying to take advantage of people who are very emotionally involved in this twin flame journey, trying to take advantage of others. I mean, who hasn't seen a documentary about, I didn't even watch it. This is just my general intuitive thoughts just on seeing it pop up on the feed in the quick little trailer on it. But who doesn't try to make a pyramid scheme out of something that people feel a need of? So think, if you're on the twin flame journey, think about how strong that pull is, because really it's this like accelerated ascension that we planned and came in here to experience in order to grow and expand at an exponential rate. And it was like you came together and we're like, we're going to do this, right? And so when you're on that journey, you go through those periods of time where you're yearning. You will do, it feels like you have lost the only thing that matters, and you will do anything to get it back. So then you have people who take advantage of those people. Ever since the beginning of time, people will find where people have a need and they will exploit that need. And to me, that's the vibe that I got. I also got another vibe off of it, which was a lot of times the darkness will try to take something that could potentially like kill their plan and demonize it in order to push people away from it who are actually going to use it to be one of the beams of light on this planet and help expansion in general. So in order to stop that, they have to act like twin flames is like just a crock of shit. But if it was a crock of shit, they wouldn't have been able to exploit it the way they did. I'm assuming on that documentary and through, I've seen it so many places. This has been going on for a long time. I just saw the quick clip of it. So they showed like one couple who basically was like creating coaches and shit like that, twin flame coaches, and everyone's paying thousands of dollars. It's just like, hello guys, get in discernment here. Okay, that's a huge lesson. It's a huge lesson for those people that exploited others. Like, think about what they're learning in that experience. They felt like they made it. They felt like they had, like, if they're believing their own shit, which usually when people are swimming in swimming in their own darkness, they're unconscious of it and they really believe the shit they're telling themselves. So they're thinking they're twin flames, they made the business, and they're out here exploiting people and not using their power for good. I don't know if they are or not. I don't know anything about them. This is just me reading the energy and channeling a message for whoever needs to hear it. So you can look at these types of situations and see it from all angles. And you're not just like, like everything was a hoax, or like this was that and this was that. It's like, no, look at people. Okay, look at these people. Look how where they're operating from. What lessons are they being taught? Look how, like, if you look at a situation, a lot of times you can see where there's the lesson for somebody. Like, oh, I can see how they need to learn that lesson. Now that you're more expanded and you're more conscious of everything that's going on, you can read people better. You can kind of see the lessons that people are learning. Well, in any situation, even in that little docuseries, you can see where there's a lesson being learned by the people that had exploited others. There's a lesson being learned by the people who were exploited. There's a lesson being learned by all twin flames who are genuinely on this journey, and they know it's real, and not allowing outside forces to downgrade what this actually is. And yes, there are some people out there that are like total flukes and they're learning their lesson too. Like that's the space of discernment you have to be in, where you're literally seeing it from every single angle. Then you're able to make a heart-centered choice from what your higher intuition says is true for you. So when I first saw that, I was kind of triggered by it. Like, ugh, like I don't like that there's a bad taste going out about twin flames. But guess what? There is a bad taste going rampant in the spiritual community about twin flames. So even the label twin flames has just been distorted in so many ways. And it's like, when you're genuinely on this journey, like for me, like I didn't even know I was one till I was in a situation where the shit wasn't making sense to me. Like I don't get stuck on people. Like I move on and I forget they exist, right? And I never felt so deeply for somebody. And it was just like all these things that were aligning, we'd come apart, go back together, or fall apart, come back together like a million times. And it's just like in the growth in both of us, like it was just, the whole thing, it was like I was searching for what the hell was happening to me. I wasn't attached to something that I wanted to happen. Actually, if you're an authentic twin flame, one of the things that you'll go throughout your journey is not wanting to be a twin flame, not wanting to be in this situation because it's asking you on such a exponential level to step your game up, to check yourself, to heal, to actually look in those deep, dark places that you desperately avoid, your ego desperately avoids, that you are try to convince yourself and argue for your own limitations because you're so attached to this way of being that you don't want to change. You want to get the hell out of the twin flame situation so you don't have to do that. You want to just go back and forget all of it. Like ignorance is bliss sometimes. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm cool. I don't want to expand anymore. Like, you get to that point in your journey. That's how you know it's a real thing. That's how you know it's real, because you don't want to deal with it anymore. But you do, because you love that person so much. It's like you can't help it but grow and but be your best self, because you know that the best version of you is okay with just being alone. For me, it's interesting because I had to get to the point where it's just, I'm okay with being alone, because my attempt to move on, like in another relationship, I'm starting to realize, like with people that I talk to, and I haven't even physically moved on or anything like that, but the people that I talk to, it's just like, I'm starting to realize like, I need to sink into me and who I am and to being the best version of myself, because this isn't where it's at. Like, I know where it's at because I've experienced it, you know? You get these glimpses. And you'll understand, like, you'll know what I'm talking about if it's you, okay? And I'm just sharing my own personal experience because I know that it's difficult on this journey. Ascension or twin flame, doesn't matter. It's difficult on this journey, and it feels good to know that somebody else is going through it too. And sometimes it's hard to share those things because, especially people who are still operating mainly from their egoic space and in the matrix, they're going to look at you like you're fucking a crazy hippie or you're nuts, or they don't understand why you make the moves you make in life. But then they have those, then you see the same, in the same breath, they look at you like, dang, I wish I could have the courage to do what they're doing. I've kind of always done this thing and it doesn't feel that good. And it looks like they're doing fun, exciting things, right? So they see you doing the scary stuff. They see you expanding into the good stuff, and it confuses them, right? And there's this energy, like, that's why it's important to be careful about who you share your space with, because they really can push energy onto you. Their thought projections, the energy of what they're thinking and feeling can be projected. If you share an idea and they have doubts that you could do it, they can project those doubts onto you. That's why, you know, you hear, keep those ideas to yourself, keep your dreams to yourself, and just let it come into fruition and people will see. You don't have to go tell anyone what your dreams are, because a lot of times they'll put energy into the space that you don't need there. That's not going to help you. And also recognize that, like, the people you surround you, like, you are who your friends are. The people you surround yourself with matters. And it's good to, you know, fill your own cup and overflow and go out and like share that with people that maybe can't even match that frequency. But know your limits, know how much you give before you have to refill your cup, or also be in the space of others who fill your cup and you fill their cup, and there's that reciprocity. The main people that you share space with should be able to reciprocate. And if they can't, that's okay. You can unconditionally love from a distance while you're sitting back filling your own cup. But just know your boundaries. Be more expanded and conscious, and recognize certain situations, what people are learning. Look at it from every angle, just like I was speaking of a few minutes ago. But okay, here's one of the downloads that Spirit had given me, and it's about mission, okay? Your vibration is what matters. It is a paradox to say you have a mission and then say that all that matters is that we be and do what feels good. Understand the highest path, your mission, is what will make you feel the best. So even though there's nothing to do here but feel good, your mission is the catalyst to your most euphoric life. So that's the paradox. Everyone's like, just be. Just come out here and just be, you know, like there's nothing you have to do. All you are is the spirit. You're not that character that has to do like our ego says. But at the same time, in the same breath, that's why people are like, what? Wait, if you have a mission, I thought we were supposed to be. Sometimes being is the mission, but this is what they're saying. What they're saying is your mission is like, if your whole mission is to feel good, then you will have a specific mission, maybe even with your twin flame or as an individual, or both. You have a combined mission and then one as an individual. Or you have other soulmates, you have people that you have planned to come in with and have this mission. And the moral of the story is that that mission is the catalyst to the most euphoric life. So being in that space will bring you the most joy, expansion, and happiness. So that's why when we align with our mission, like, we are aligning with our most highest vibration. So if you want to bring in mission into your space, sometimes you do just have to be, so you can get into that space of surrender and just allowing the information to come in, allowing the downloads to come in, being okay with it not happening immediately, understanding that sometimes there's steps to take in order to get there. So there's a lot of things that I want to do and I know I'm going to do in this lifetime. But right now I have to be so present with being a mother and just doing what and stud in my studies. I've been reading a ton of books lately. All that. And I know that after, my kids are very independent and I've taught them how to be self-sufficient and go off on their own and do whatever they want to do. Even if that's, anyways, I'm not going to go on a tangent. But then I can go on to that mission later. And that you get these downloads and it's like you want it to happen right now. And if it doesn't, you get down on yourself and you're like, wait, why can't I do all these things? I have this laundry list of stuff that I know I want to do. I want to live off the grid. I want to garden. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, there's these steps that we have to take. And sometimes our egoic mind that wants to control the whole situation and plan it all out and figure things out, like it just doesn't know what spirit has in store. And it's not going to be as good as what spirit thinks. So just like surrender that ego and allow yourself to be so that information can come to you. And then you can kind of feel it out. Be like, where am I supposed to be right now? Like for me, it's like, I'm supposed to be a mom right now. Just embrace that and don't put pressure on yourself. If you get downloads, then write them down and then let them be in the space. Release them into the ethers and spirit's going to work its magic. And it's not going to be like, it's going to be one of those work smarter, not harder situations. If you go with the ego, you're working harder. If you're going with spirit, you're working smarter. Okay. And I had to learn that the hard way so many times as I was the overachiever in life. So I totally get that struggle, but trust me, surrender. And that was another download that I had got at a separate time. Drop the fight and surrender. Be in this space of not having a reaction, like really being that observer and then having a response. Doesn't reaction sound like so much more dense than a response? Also have zero attachment to any situation. And that is hard. That's that reaction list too. It's like a combo because you'll have a situation maybe at work or in a relationship or whatever it is, and it triggers you. And you really just have to sit there for a second and be like, okay, where's this person at? Where's my boss sitting in this situation? What's their perspective? Why? Ask the question, sit with things for a minute. We don't have, that's why I hate cell phones and all that kind of stuff. It's like, we immediately have to give people our reaction or our response. And they're like, what's going on? Well, it's like, sometimes you got to let people just sit there for a minute, just sit and be in the silence and be like, huh? So they can have that opportunity too, which they probably won't take 9 times out of 10, but just we have to get uncomfortable with that silence that comes after something happens. And we're just going to be in order to respond instead of react. And we have to start creating that and normalizing that. And that's hard for people pleasers. I will say that. Because you immediately just want to create the solution. Here it is. It's okay. Console everybody. But really being able to step into that sovereign space where you're so good with you, so good with not really caring how people perceive you or how you come off, that you can just sit for a minute in that confident, silent space, but humble, right? And just be with the situation so you can really get a grounded response instead of a triggered reaction. And that applies to everywhere in life, parenting, at work, in any relationship with a loved one or whoever, right? And that's what I tell my students at school too. Self-control is mastery. If somebody says something to you or does something and you immediately feel like you have to react, you are giving your power away and you don't have self-control. If you can control yourself and then you bring it back to Neo in the Matrix, think about his demeanor. His demeanor was so I'm collected, I'm grounded, I have self-control, but I'm also surrendered to whatever is about to happen because I know I can't control that. It's that energy. But I'm going to wait and pause for a minute before I respond. Unless I'm in a survival, maybe Neo's not the best example, but you see what I'm saying? Like, the point I'm trying to make is like cool, calm, collect, observer, respond from a healthy space. That's what Spirit's trying to get through here. Because it's too often that we just are so used to just being that immediate egoic reaction and normalizing it, saying that's okay. It's not okay. At some point, you need to actually say, I had this thing about myself where I'm reacting in my environment and I'm not putting out good energy into the space. And I want to change that so I can put better energy out into the space. It's like a lack of integrity. When people walk around with no integrity, they walk around not caring how their actions, words, however they're presenting the energy is impacting what's around them or who's in their life. That's not cool. That's not coming from the higher self. That's not here to expand and raise the collective vibration, right? So the more that we can become examples of that and shine our light, the more people are going to be drawn to that energy and they're going to want to embody that energy too. And it's this snowball effect. But it's also going to call the darkness out of people because that means they have to face their stuff. In order to embody that energy, they would have to face whatever it is standing in their way of becoming what that is. So that means changing bad, negative thought forms, habits, programs we've learned in the Matrix, how we interact in our relationships. The list goes on, right? So let's see if there's anything else Spirit had. Yeah, and the only other thing, I had got this a few days ago, and it was just the words coming back to our innocence. And that is like exactly how I feel as I am expanding as an individual. I feel like I'm becoming such a softer person. I feel like in the past I was so guarded and hard, like friendly. But there's a difference between friendly and just being like open and vulnerable with people and allowing them to feel safe in your space. It's like Ascension really does bring you back to that childlike curiosity and adventure and just wanting to have an exciting experience. Or an exciting could just be like laying in the grass looking at the clouds, and it just feels like when you were a kid and you had no bills to pay, right? Like life is good, like no worries in the world. And that's that innocence. That's that like dropping all the fear, dropping all the programming, just wanting to learn, knowing the more you know you don't know. So you're just wanting to learn and like take it in and seeing how like, hey, I used to know something and I realized that wasn't right. So what else do I know that might not be right? What might not be the truth or whatever that truth is. Everything is such a paradox. And that's another thing. Like when I say the more the more you know you don't know, it's because everything's so paradoxical. So you become open to the flow of life and not try to control it, because there is no right or wrong way. And we have to experience the contrast in order to expand more into the light. And there's nothing to control. Like just release and surrender, because that's where it's at. That's where the heart expansion is. So yeah, that completes my message for today. I gotta go pick up my kids, but listen, I love you guys and I hope you're doing okay out there. This was kind of a random, like off on a bunch of different tangents type of video, but I really I thought I was gonna make it yesterday, and that ended up to be a rough day. And then I woke up and I was like, whoa, like I gotta share this. And a lot of the stuff I say it's all just comes as I turn on the video. Everything that I read is the only thing I have written down. It really is coming from Spirit. So whoever is drawn to my videos, these messages are meant for not just me, but you. and I share them for that purpose. I've been making videos since 2018 because I was divinely called after having a catalyzing experience with my twin flame to start making videos, to start coming on here to share what comes through me from spirit as that voice box and that light worker. And yeah, like that's why I felt triggered by that stupid Netflix docuseries, because guess what? Some of us are out here because we are divinely called to do this work and to help the collective consciousness expand into the higher heart frequency. And so when you see stuff like that, that's like slandering twin flames, or people who are like exploiting it's kind of annoying, because there's people out here like me, like I don't make a dime off the whole twin flame thing unless people donate, which I greatly appreciate. I do appreciate those who donate, but I don't make anything on. I do this because literally I feel so pulled to do it. I don't even like getting up and talking to people. I'm super introverted. The most extroverted part of me is on this YouTube channel. That's why, like, most people I know in real time have no idea I even have this, because it, in a weird way, like even at work, I'm like, I hope nobody finds me on YouTube or anything, because it's like the secret thing I do in a way, because this is part of my mission. So here I am, and I don't know how it's going to expand. I try to predict it. You guys have seen me say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it's just still me on here sharing my experience. So, but it's all good. And that's just a perfect example of how you don't know how your mission is going to pan out, and to just trust spirit and know that if you align with, feeling good and healing, and you're committed to doing the work, that it all works out, and it's all just expansion, and there's no pressure, there's no time constraints, and all you need is you. That's all you need. It's all in here, and you'll feel that as you expand. But I love you guys, and have an amazing rest of your Sunday.